Hello again, praise the Lord. Today I want to leave a video about not giving up hope, and also about Jesus coming to save that which was lost. And I'll tie that in this passage. So I'm trying to keep these videos on this channel 5 to 7 minutes, but this one might be a little longer because it's a long passage that I have to read. So two videos ago, I had read a passage about Jesus crossing a lake in a severe storm. Well, this story I'm about to read is after that story where he crosses the lake in the storm with his disciples. So this story is from Mark chapter 5, verse 1 through 20. The title of this passage is Jesus Restores a Demon Possessed Man. So, verse 1. They went across the lake to the region of Gerasenes. When Jesus got out of the boat, a man with an impure spirit came from the tombs to meet him. This man lived in the tombs, and no one could bind him any more, not even with a chain, for he had often been chained hand and foot. But he tore the chains apart and broke the irons on his feet. No one was strong enough to subdue him. Night and day, among the tombs and in the hills, he would cry out and cut himself with stones. Verse 6. When he saw Jesus from a distance, he ran and fell on his knees in front of him. He shouted at the top of his voice, "What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? In God's name, don't torture me." For Jesus had said to him, "Come out of this man, you impure spirit." When Jesus asked him, "What is your name?" "My name is Legion," he replied, "for we are many." And he begged Jesus again and again not to send them out of the area. A large herd of pigs was feeding on the nearby hillside. The demons begged Jesus, "Send us among the pigs. Allow us to go into them." He gave them permission, and the impure spirits came out and went into the pigs. The herd, about 2,000 in number, rushed down the steep bank into the lake and were drowned. Those tending the pigs ran off and reported this in the town and countryside. And the people went out to see what had happened. When they came to Jesus, they saw the man who had been possessed by the legion of demons sitting there dressed and in his right mind. They were afraid. Those who had seen it told the people what had happened to the demon-possessed man, and told about the pigs as well. Then the people began to plead with Jesus to leave their region. As Jesus was getting into the boat, the man had been demon-possessed begged to go with him. Jesus did not let him, but said, "Go home to your own people, and tell them how much the Lord has done for you, and how he has had mercy on you." So the man went away and began to tell in the Decapolis how much Jesus had done for him, and all the people were amazed. That's again Mark 5, verse 1 through 20. So Jesus crossed the lake with the disciples through this bad storm, and he comes to the region of the Gerasenes. And the first man that comes running to meet Jesus is a man possessed by demons. He called himself Legion. So I looked up the term Legion, and I thought there was a number attached to it. This is the Romans, and back in the old days, they use that term for many soldiers. It could be anywhere from 2,000 to 6,000 soldiers. So this guy had 2,000 to 6,000 demons in him. Only God knows how 6,000 got into him. It starts with one, and a doorway opens, and all the other ones just come in. But anyway, Jesus goes to this region, and the first one that comes out is this man who's possessed by demons, and he's living in the tombs because the town people gave up on him, and he was chained in the tombs, but they couldn't chain him. He was too strong because he had all these demons in him. He was breaking the chains, and he was cutting himself. He's running around in the tombs crying out. He's nuts. I mean, imagine all the demons. Everybody had given up on him but Jesus. So I'm reading this passage. One thing that stands out is Jesus crossed the lake with the disciples in this bad weather. Also, that's a whole story by itself, and you can reference my previous video. But Jesus came looking for this one man. Everybody had given up on him, but Jesus didn't. Um, so this guy comes running, and Jesus restores this guy. He rebukes the demons, and they all go running into a herd of pigs. But Jesus restores this man. So it comes down to the end of the passage, the story. So these owners of the pigs, they're going nuts because all their pigs are lost, their livelihood, and they go to the town and tell the people about Jesus and rebuking these demons. And the guy tells about the story of this guy, and they all come running to see this guy. And there he is. It says when they came to see Jesus, they saw the man who had been possessed by the legion of demons, sitting there, dressed and in his right mind, and they were afraid. So it's an instant change, right? There's this guy, Lord knows how long he's been in the tombs, living crazy and possessed, and he's cutting himself. He must have been a sight. I mean, his entire body is just cut up. It says he cuts himself at night. He cries out because he's possessed, and he doesn't know what to do. And somewhere in him, something in him cried out to God. And it had to be, or it could have been, somebody was praying for him. I can only ask these questions because the Bible doesn't say if somebody was praying for him or he cried out. But and no matter what, Jesus saw this man. He came looking for him. So there's in Matthew 18:11, Jesus says his mission for the Son of Man has to come to save that which was lost, right? And that's his mission, and that should be our mission. And I'm going to read this passage also. Let's see. So Jesus tells a story in Matthew 18. It's not a story. He's telling the disciples, Matthew 18:12 through 14, if a man has 100 sheep, but one of the sheep becomes lost, then the man will leave the other 99 sheep on the hill. He will go looking for the lost sheep, right? And if a man finds the lost sheep, the man is happier about that one sheep than about the 99 sheep that were never lost. I tell you the truth, in the same way, your Father in heaven does not want any of these little children to be lost. Jesus didn't want this guy to be lost. He was possessed, but Jesus crossed the lake to save this man. And it doesn't say anything about anybody else, Jesus telling anybody else about the gospel. He came for this man. And it's instant change. Where are you in your life? Are you lost? Don't give up on yourself. People may have given up on you, but Jesus has not. God still loves you. He came to save which was lost. Cry out to him. Ask him. Ask him for a change in your life. You may be bogged down with sin. All it takes is asking forgiveness. Getting on your knees, crying out to God, just asking forgiveness. It's instant. This man was demon possessed. He had 6,000 demons in him. When he had an encounter with Jesus, it was an instant change. Those townspeople saw him chained, and they can hear him probably crying in the tombs. When Jesus came across, instant change. The next thing they know is he's sitting there whole, completely healed. I can imagine all the cuts are gone. Jesus healed him of all his cuts. He's clothed. It says the passage mentions that he's sitting there clothed, speaking. That means he must have been running around, couldn't speak, not clothed. He's restored. God can restore your life. No matter where you are in the miry clay, God can restore you. Cry out to God. Again, as I said before, if you don't have a Bible, please let me know. I will send you a Bible. And if you have prayer requests, email me, and I'll be praying for you. And if these videos touch your heart, subscribe if you can, and then tell someone about these videos. And I'm sorry this went a little too long, but I had to read this whole passage and my goal is to leave 5 to 7 minutes, but however the Lord leads. God bless you. Till next time.